Hey y'all, I am Chelsea of Knitting Tipsy. If you've been here before, thank you so much for coming back. And if you're new here, cheers, darling. So glad to have you, and feel free to let me know in the comments what brought you over to my channel. Today is the summer solstice. It is Litha, if you celebrate Blessed Litha. I've actually been doing quite a bit of filming today for a bunch of different projects for my magical making series. I got some work done on that this morning, and I thought that today would be, being that it is summer solstice and it is Litha, it would be a perfect time to cast on for the Summer Romance Crochet Along. If you haven't heard of it yet, the Summer Romance Crochet Along is a yearly crochet along hosted by my beautiful, wonderful, amazingly talented friend, Clarissa Beth of Crochet Cakes, and it is co-hosted by Crochet Luna. She is new to me, but she seems amazing. They have hosted this crochet along in the summer for, I think, the last couple of years. I found out about it last year, but kind of too late to really join and enjoy my time in the crochet along. But I knew it was coming this year, and when I heard the theme, they pick a new theme every year, I was sold. I knew that I had to join in. The theme this year is enemies to lovers. Maybe one of my favorite tropes in all of my romance and smut books. Huge romance and smut girly, by the way. If you don't know, you can follow me on Instagram. Make sure you get on my email list. I am always giving romance and smut recommendations. I read almost daily. I listen to spicy audiobooks and romantasy books, and I give my recommendations quite frequently. The Summer Romance Crochet Along is running from now until August 17th, and the rules are pretty simple. You need to choose a couple, an enemies to lovers couple that fits that romance genre. It doesn't have to be books. It could also be a movie or a play, a poem, many different forms of media. And then you create a project based on that couple. You can use the hashtag SRCal2024. I think I'll put the hashtag here. But you can use that hashtag to post your photos on Instagram. If you're not an Instagram person, there is a Discord. You can go to Crochet Cakes here on YouTube and you can join the Discord. And it's just a fun place to share ideas and photos and kind of get involved in the community. Like I said, Clarissa Beth is a very dear friend of mine. I am so excited to join her crochet along this year. And for my project, I actually, I worked at this backwards. Instead of choosing my couple and then figuring out a project, I really already knew what I wanted to make. So it was more finding a couple that suited my vibes for my project. I'm being very ambitious. Today, June 20th, Litha, summer solstice. I have from now until August 17th to make this project. I will let you know, I believe the deadlines are very arbitrary, and for my own mental health, this might not make it. This might not get done in the amount of time. I am perfectly okay with giving myself an extra long deadline. I'm curious to see if I can do it by August 17th, but I don't have to do it. Keep myself sane by August 17th. Because like I said, my project is very ambitious. I have decided to go for a pretty epic dress. Now I can't show you this dress, it's in my head. This is going to be a new design. It is something that I've had sketched out for, I think, 2 years now. I will be designing a witchy, sexy crochet dress for the make along. I wish I were a better drawer or sketch artist that I could show you kind of what's in my head, but I am not. I mean, like, people are like, oh, everyone can draw. I really kind of fuck up stick figures, so I'm not gonna attempt to draw it and make myself feel worse. What I am gonna do is kind of give you an overview of what I'll be designing, and hopefully my words and the visualization will help you envision what I'm going for. But let's start with the yarn. I am going to be using the Little Wolf Knits Barbie World colorways. How gorgeous is this yarn? I'm telling you, like, this is so fun and flirty and sexy and bold and springy and feminine. All of these are words that I would use to describe this yarn. Now, if you notice, there are two different kinds. It is the same colorway, but on two different bases. One of the bases I'll be using is Breeze Sunfish. This is a 75-25 superwash merino nylon blend. It is called Sunfish, if I didn't already say that. It's a fingering weight 4-ply. Oh, and it's so good. It's so good. And I'll also be using, this is her buoy base. It is a baby Surrey alpaca. And I love Surrey yarn. If you could touch this, it is so soft. It is so soft. I prefer Surrey over mohair. I don't feel like it's itchy. Like, mohair to me is a little bit itchy. I think mohair is beautiful. But yeah, I love Surrey. Surrey is so soft and wonderful. And it does give kind of a halo, a cloud effect that I won't be holding them together. I will actually be crocheting certain rows with the fingering and certain rows with the Surrey to kind of give an illusion of like peekaboo, like sheer. We'll see. That's what's in my head. I've caked up 2 of the balls because I am going to be doing a little bit of swatching here. And they just look so pretty in the cakes too, don't they? But here's what I'm envisioning. I'm going to be making 2 cups for the bodice, for the breast area, 2 cups going this way. If you've seen a lot of my bikini cup designs, that's what I think I'm going to be going with, a form of that. And it'll come to natural waist, maybe high natural waist, and it will be enclosed in the back with a bodice. The goal is to make this strapless and also to support the weight of the skirt, so I will be adding elastic at different points so that it's snug to the body. Very form-fitting bodice. Bustier almost. Then the skirt will come out and it will be a positive ease A-line skirt over the hips. I want it to be large enough that I could possibly insert a tulle skirt underneath, a purple tulle skirt. I think that would be so epic. But I also want the option to not. There may or may not be a slit. And this was a recent addition once I figured out who my couple is going to be. I think I will be adding some attached, like I've seen a lot of designs that use a chain just so that you have sleeves, but they're not really part of the dress itself. So there will be a chain to attach the sleeves, and I want to make really epic bell-shaped witchy sleeves. I think it will be so pretty and so sexy, and with the sheer kind of peekaboo of the Surrey, but still soft and feminine and a halo effect. And this colorway, it very much screams like sexy feminine adventure to me, and very witchy. So I hope that kind of helped you visualize the dress that I'm going for. Now let's talk about what characters would suit that. And while I was describing it, if a character, an enemies to lovers character came to mind, feel free to pop them into the comments too, because I like getting new book recommendations. Maybe I've read it, maybe I haven't, or watched it. But yeah, let me know who that brings to mind for you. For me, there were several from the enemies to lovers books that I have read that would kind of fit this. So it was more about finding the best fit, because like I said, I worked backwards instead of choosing my couple first. I think I've made a decision, and it's not who I said on my live the other day. Last Sunday when I went live, I thought I knew who the couple was going to be. It was going to be Lou and Reed from the book Serpent and Dove by, give me a second, Shelby Mahurin. I think I'm pronouncing that right. If I'm not, I'm sorry. Mahurin? This is a series that I read a few years ago, maybe 2 years ago, 3 years ago. And it is amazing. It is kind of a heart. It pulls your heart from your chest quite a bit. It's not a slog to read, but it is hard to read because of, I don't think anything's, well, read the content warnings. There are some triggers. There's some significant mommy issues. Yeah, make sure you read the content warnings. Like I said, it's been a while since I've read it. But basically, we have our main character. Her name is Lou. And this book takes place in a fictional France of the past. I don't know if it's supposed to be medieval, not medieval, but like Regency, Victorian. I'm not sure. I don't really know my timelines that way. But France of the past. And our main character, Lou, is a witch. But she is a witch, not unlike in France of the past, in a time whenever being a witch was a crime punishable by death. And so she is on the run from many different things, but shit is bad for her, and she is living under a false identity. She is just trying to make it, but she's also this really brash, vulgar, bold, confident young woman. And I love that. I love that. I think her character is so interesting. There are sometimes when you're reading it and she's kind of like, fuck the world, and she's looking out for herself because she's being hunted, but she also cares so much for the people that she loves and will sacrifice basically everything for them. She's pretty epic. There are some incredible friendships. You will cry. I'm sorry, you will. There are losses. It's great. But obviously, who is the other part of this couple? Reed. Now, Reed is a chasseur. The chasseurs are witch hunters. So we can clearly see this is an enemies to lovers situation. And he does not know that Lou is a witch. But after this really funny, kind of horrible scene, I mean, when I say fun, like kind of funny, but also really sad, you'll have to read it to find out. They are thrust together and they are forced to wed. He still does not know that she is a witch, but their relation, she's like, oh, hey, this guy's gonna protect me. He's very protector vibes. And he's like, well, if I'm gonna marry you, then, but he expects her to kind of become this other person. And she's just laughing like, hell no, I'm not. It's really funny. It's really good. Their love story is just incredible. And yeah, I'll leave it at that because I'm afraid I'm gonna give away too much. I love spoilers, and I have to remind myself that other people don't. So that is Serpent and Dove. But Lou she's very bold and brash, but sexy and feminine, and she's a witch. And I felt like this dress really would suit her and Reed well. But then I thought of two characters, enemies to lovers, that actually I think it fits better. So I am changing from Lou and Reed. Maybe I'll make an outfit for them at another time. But I am changing to Hades and Persephone. Now wait, I know there are a ton of Hades and Persephone stories out there. There's A Touch of Darkness by somebody Sinclair and Neon Gods by Katie Roberts. I have not read either of those series. Based on content warnings and reviews, I don't think I would enjoy them. And I'm not yucking anybody's yum. I know so many people love those books, and that is awesome. There is something for everyone out there. But I personally don't know. Maybe one of these days I'll try it, because I know people who love them. My Hades and Persephone is based on two other Hades and Persephone's retellings. The first is from the comic series Lore, Olympus, by Rachel Smythe. I think it's Smith. I'll show you a cover photo for it. But Lore, Olympus, right? And this is a kind of modern present day retelling of them, and it's beautiful. Lots of content warnings for that too. I will let you know up front. Make sure if you decide to read that, you check those out. But it is a beautiful, beautiful story, and it really reimagines the relationship between Hades and Persephone. They're not really enemies in this one. I know people are going to come at me like, that's not enemies to lovers, but I think the overall idea that Hades, in the historical Greek form, kidnaps Persephone to take her to the underworld. That's kind of enemies to lovers. The other version of Hades and Persephone that I am very influenced by, it's a different form, a different medium. If you have never heard of the Dipsy app, baby, let me turn you on to it because it's gonna turn you on. This is a woman-owned, designed for women, audio erotica app. There are stories, if you want to actually read, that was something that I learned recently, you can read some of the stories on there, but it's mostly audiobooks, not really books, it's audio romance, audio erotica. They are divided into chapters. So there is one that is Hades and Persephone, and each chapter, each story is, I don't know, like 8 to 15 minutes long. This is mostly spice. Like there is a plot, but the plot is spice. And it is that way for a lot of the stories. You will be listening to a male, or, well, I don't want to say that. I've listened to several of the sapphic romances that are incredible. The narrators each take a part. So if you are listening to a story that has multiple characters, you will have multiple narrators. That was a better way to describe it. But the app itself is so cool. I wish I could get like a link for it for you guys. I'm still gonna put it in the description. If you're like, this sounds amazing, please check it out. It's really fun. But you can choose your stories based on a lot of different factors. So let's say you are in the mood for historical smut, or you are in the mood for a cowboy romance, or you are in the mood for a she-doms sapphic office romance. They got it. You can search by different, they call it tags. One of the tags is gender. Do you want her and him, her and her, him and him, her and him, her, him and him, trans and non-binary. You can also have you in there. So like you are one of the other characters, the main characters. So like her and you, him and you, her and you. There's a lot of different things to search for in the gender aspect. You can search by the type of voice you want to listen to. Do you want to listen to an Irish accent? Do you want to listen to an Australian accent, a British accent? Do you want to listen to Black voices? All of these can be searched. If you have any particular kinks that you're into, like menage a trois, or I don't know how much I'm allowed to say on YouTube, or like he doms, she doms. There's lots more. There's lots more that, like, I don't know how much I'm allowed to say, but different categories that you can search for your audio erotica. And they are all done so well. They are so wonderful. I can't get enough of this app. I recommend it every chance that I get. And I love that it's woman owned and it's created for women. So doesn't mean that men can't enjoy it. My husband loves it. We listen to these stories sometimes like for date nights. It's a great way to get a spicy date night. But yeah, I highly recommend. And if you want a fun one to start with, it was the first of the stories that I started with. There is the Hades and Persephone, and highly recommend it. It's kind of enemies to lovers in there. Like she knows that he's the enemy, but damn, why is he so hot? You know, like, and then he offers her this kind of way out, and she takes him up on it, and it's great. So you may be thinking, okay, Chelsea, well, that is enemies to lovers, but why does that win over Reed and Lou? Well, definitely the color. This colorway is so springy and so feminine. Persephone is the goddess of spring, but she is also the goddess of the underworld. She is the goddess of light and darkness. She is the goddess of rebirth and death. And I just think this kind of sweet and soft feminine meets ultra sexy is a great way. I just think that this colorway with the design really could represent her very well. Also, if you are a witch or a witchy like I am, Persephone is a goddess of witches. And I think with the witchy sleeves, it does kind of give those vibes. So I think it wins out mostly for the goddess of spring and that kind of sexy meets sweetness. And also because I want to read more Hades and Persephone. So I will create another project one day for Lou and Reed, but Hades and Persephone wins, I think. And I'm hoping that I can find, I know that there's so many more Hades and Persephone stories out there, so maybe I will try Neon Gods or A Touch of Darkness, but I know there's some other Hades and Persephone, maybe that this will inspire me to read and that I can share with you guys while creating my dress. Whew, okay, so next steps, I'm not sure if I will be including them on this first video or not, but I am gonna get to swatching now that I have my yarn caked up. I'm gonna play with hook size. I'm gonna play with, like I said, some different textures. I think I know the texture that I wanna go with. Some like sheerness, how many rows of the fingering, how many rows of the suri to kind of get the look and the texture that I'm going for. So I'll do those swatches, I'll get those blocking, and then I'm gonna get started on the bodice. So this is my cast on for the Summer Romance Crochet Along hosted by Crochet Cakes and Crochet Luna. If you want to join me, please do. Let me know in the comments what you might be reading that is enemies to lovers. Let me know if there's a project you think you might want to cast on for it. Head over to Crochet Cakes to join the Discord or just to check out more about it, and to Crochet Luna. And yeah, this is gonna be really fun, y'all. I'm gonna have such a sexy witchy dress. Well, thank you so much again for watching. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see y'all next time. Cheers.